Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the following topics: main memory, the memory unit that communicates directly with the CPU, auxiliary memory, and cache memory is called main memory. See, main memory it is also called as primary memory, and this is very much essential for the computer. See, primary memory or essential memory or main memory. This is the memory which is directly communicate with the CPU as well as auxiliary memory and cache memory. So it is called as main memory. Uh, it stores data and programs decoding computer operations, and it uses semiconductor technology. Hence, we can also call it as semiconductor memory. It is the central storage unit of the computer system, which is used for storing data and programs, and the data which is stored in the main memory or programs stored in the main memory, then only it is possible to process by the CPU. Without storing the content in the main memory, it is not possible to process the data. So, before going to process the data in the CPU, the data must be placed into the main memory. Then only it is possible to process it. Right? So it is called as main memory or essential memory. It is the central storage unit of the computer system. It is a large and fast memory used to store data during computer operations. Main memory is made up of RAM and ROM. Okay, first, hope you know RAM and ROM, random access memory and read-only memory. First one, random access memory. Random access memory again can be divided into some types. DRAM and SRAM. Dynamic RAM and static RAM. RAM means random access memory, RAM, which can be divided into two types: dynamic RAM and static RAM, DRAM and SRAM. Dynamic RAM is made up of capacitors and transistors. As a ECE students, you know about what is capacitor and transistor, and it is the combination of or made up of capacitor and transistors. It is slower and cheaper than SRAM. Dynamic RAM is slower as well as cheaper when we compare with static RAM. Dynamic RAMs are the predominant choice of implementing computer main memories. So, when we create a main memory, it is dynamic RAMs are best choice or predominant choice, and before and when best choice for implementing main memories, right? The high densities achievable in these chips make large memories economically feasible. If you want to create a main memory, we choose dynamic RAM. It gives economically feasible, means financially feasible. Economical means here financially, I mean which gives a less cost. Then next, static RAM. Static RAM. Static RAM has a 6 transistor circuit, 6 transistor circuit in each cell, and retains data until power off. See, static means constant. It has 6 transistors and each cell, and retains data until power off. The choice of a RAM chip for a given application depends upon several factors such as cost, speed, power dissipation, and the size of the chip. Okay, depends upon the factors. Cost, speed, power dissipation, and the size of the chip. We have to choose a RAM chip for composition of main memory. If the cost is less and the speed is high and the power dissipation is low and the size of the chip is high, then we have to prefer SRAM, like that. Before going to prefer this SRAM for construction of main memory, we need to consider the following factors. Those are cost, speed, power dissipation, and size of the chip. And static RAMs are generally used only when very fast operations is the primary requirement. So these are preferable for fast operations is the primary requirement. See, whenever we need very fast operations as a primary requirement, then we go for static RAMs. Hope you understand my point, which is useful or used for the operations which are needed very fast, and those operations are a primary requirement, then only we go for static RAMs. Their cost and size are adversely affected by the complexity of the circuit that realizes the basic cell. Okay, so cost of these static RAM are flexible. Adversely affected by the complexity of the circuit that realizes the basic cell. So there is no problem with the cost and size of the SRAM. Those are reliable. They are used mostly in cache memories. Okay, these static RAMs are used in cache memories only. Mostly used because cache memory is the fastest memory and costly memory also, and which is very small in size, and this is very nearby the CPU, and the things which are used very frequently are placed in the cache memory instead of main memory, because it takes less time to access by the CPU when we compare with the main memory, because main memory is far away from the CPU when we compare with the cache memory. So the things or data which is very frequently used by the CPU are placed at cache memory. Let's say I am going to give one example, the differentiation between cache memory and main memory. So both are used to place the data, but main memory is used to place the data, entire data, but cache memory is a smallest memory and place the data which is used by the CPU very frequently. Like that, we are place mobile phone and TV remote very nearby ours because we use them very frequently. So instead of placing the mobile and remotes on the cupboards, we have to place them in our hands or very nearby us because it takes time to take every time to change the channel to take the remote from the cupboard or mobile phone because we have to see the mobile every 1 or 2 minutes for updates. Okay, so we cannot place those things in cupboards because it takes some time to take them, right? Like that. But we have to place the books in cupboards because we cannot use them frequently because we use the books at the time of end of the semester only. So they are placed at cupboards. So cupboard is main memory and nearby our place is cache memory because for the fast accessing or for fast typing we place the things which are used very frequently nearby us. That is the difference of main memory and cache memory. So for the purpose of creating cache memory we use static ROMs. ROM that is a read-only memory, ROM, read-only memory. It is non-volatile and is more like a permanent storage for information. Okay, whenever the power is turned off and on, the content is cannot gone or cannot change. It also stores the bootstrap loader program to load and start the operating system when computer is turned on. Okay, this is a non-volatile memory, read-only memory or permanent storage. The various types of ROMs are like dynamic RAM and static RAM. Here also we have different types of ROMs, read-only memories. Those are PROM, programmable read-only memory. Programmable read-only memory. EPROM, electrically programmable read-only memory. Electrically programmable read-only memory. And EEPROM. EEPROM, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. One more time, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. Next one, flash memory. Flash memory. PROM, EPROM, EEPROM, flash memory. First one, ROM. ROM, read-only memory. A ROM cell is just like this. We have a bit line, one bit line. This is old line connected to store a 0 or not connected to store a 1. See, this is a P bit. Here we have an explanation also. A logic value 0 is stored in the cell, right? If the transistor is connected to ground, transistor here P to ground, these three lines are ground at a point P, otherwise a 1 is stored. So a logic value 0 is stored in the cell if the transistor is connected to ground. If the transistor P is connected to ground, a 0 value is stored. Otherwise, not connected, store 1. Connected to store a 0. P is connected to ground, then 0 value is stored, otherwise 1 is stored. The bit line is connected through a resistor to the power supply to read the state of the cell. The old line is activated. Thus, the transistor switch is closed and voltage on the bit line drops to near zero if there is a connection between the transistor and the ground. If there is no connection to the ground, the bit line remains at the high voltage indicating 1. I mean simply, if it is connected to ground, 0 value is stored, otherwise 1 is stored. A sense circuit that ends of the bit line generates the proper output value. Data are written into ROM when manufactured. Okay. Next, PROM. PROM. Programmable read-only memory. It stands for programmable read-only memory. Already I told you. It was first developed in 70s by Texas Instruments. It is made as a blank memory. Once again, PROM, programmable read-only memory. It was first developed in 70s, I mean 1970s by Texas Instruments. It is made as a blank memory, I mean empty. A PROM programmer or PROM burner is required in order to write data onto a PROM chip. I mean blank memory means which is empty, and we have to write data onto PROM. See, a PROM programmer, mean programmer or a PROM burner. A programmer or a PROM burner, any of these two is required in order to write data on PROM chip. Mean it is in a blank memory, and which is needed to write some data into that memory by a programmer. The data stored in it cannot be modified, and therefore it is also known as one-time programmable device. So once you have to write anything on PROM, there is no way to modify the data which is placed or which is right in the PROM. So this is also called as, I mean by that what you call by that feature, we can also call it as one-time programmable device. Means once you can write anything on that PROM, we are unable to modify. So we call it as one-time programmable device. Then next, EPROM. EPROM, electrically programmable read-only memory. Erasable, I mean it stands for erasable programmable read-only memory. Erasable programmable read-only memory. It is different from PROM. As unlike PROM, the program can be written on it more than once. This comes as the solution to the problem faced by PROM. So, erasable programmable read-only memory. Actually, programmable read-only memory can also called as one-time one-time memory, because once you can write anything on that memory, we are unable to modify it. So we have to introduce one more memory which is called erasable programmable read-only memory. It is different from PROM, as unlike PROM, the program cannot be written on it more than once. I mean, once you can write, we cannot write anything. This comes as the solution to the problem faced by PROM. So we can avoid the disadvantage whatever we face in PROM. We have to introduce this EPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory. This bits of memory come back to one when ultraviolet rays of some specific wavelength falls into its chip's glass panel. The fuses are reconstituted and the new things can be written on the memory. Simply, you can avoid the disadvantage of PROM. We can introduce erasable programmable read-only memory by using some ultraviolet rays. Some specific wavelength falls into its chips. We can erase the data into PROM and we can rewrite. We can write new things on the written on the memory. I mean, simply erasable is possible in ROM, PROM, right? Next. Next, EEPROM. EEPROM stands for electrically erasable read-only memory. Electrically erasable read-only memory. These are also erasable like EPROM, but the same work of erasing is performed with electric current. See, here some specific wavelength, I mean some ultraviolet rays are used for erasing in EPROM, but here in EEPROM we have to use electrical current instead of ultraviolet rays for erasing the content. Both are same, but only difference is instead of using a ultraviolet rays we have to use electrical current. Thus it provides the ease of erasing it even the memory is positioned in the computer. It stores computer systems BIOS unlike EPROM. The entire chip does not have to be erased for changing some portion of it. Thus, it even gets rid of some biggest challenges by using EPROMs. Next, flash ROM, flash memories, flash ROM. It is an updated version of EEPROM. In EEPROM, it is not possible to alter many memory locations at the same time. However, flash memory provides this advantage. The EEPROM, by enabling this feature of alerting many locations simultaneously. It was invented by Toshiba and got its name from its capability of deleting a block of data in flash memory. Flash cards, one way of constituting a large module is to mount flash chips on a small card. Such flash cards have a standard interface that makes the usable in a variety of products. Right, a card is simply plugged into a conveniently accessible slot. Flash cards come in a variety of memory sizes. Typical sizes are 8 by 8 GB, 8 and 32 and 64 MBs. Flash drives, larger flash memory modules have been developed to replace hard disk drives. These flash drives are designed fully emulate the hard disk to the point that they can be fitted into the standard disk drive buys. However, the storage capacity of the flash drives is significantly lower. Currently, the capacity of the flash drive is less than 1 gigabyte.